In the Deepstone Crypt, the Guardians came face to face with a fallen enemy we've been very familiar with in the past in Taniks the Scarred. This culminated in one of the coolest boss backdrops in a raid in my opinion, trying to fight off Taniks' nuclear threat and these enemies while plummeting to Europa. Let's talk about Taniks' past and how he's back in the Deepstone Crypt, and also, will he be back in the future? The question of how is Taniks alive begins with a look at his past. Many years ago, Taniks began as a small little dreg, one of the lowest ranking fallen in their hierarchy, so low that these ranks were often docked of their arms, having, their lower arms removed, while the ranks above them like Vandals were still allowed to have 4 in total. So Dreg Taniks was docked some of his arms by a former Kel. We see this description in one of the items in Destiny 1. A Kel cut off his arms, he built himself new ones, then he killed the Kel with them. So this is one of the first glimpses or instances where Taniks was using new technology on his own body. The Fallen themselves are pretty notorious for this, like seen in Rise of Iron with Siva, the Scorn, and also the House of Salvation in Beyond Light using the darkness. You get the point, but it seems that no one Fallen has done as much experimenting as perhaps Taniks. One of the earliest accounts of Taniks coming back from the dead happened when the Vanguard Dare took place. So to summarize that up a little bit, long ago Taniks was out there killing Guardians and causing a big commotion, so Cade and a hunter named Andal Brask agreed that whichever one of them was able to kill Taniks would be free to carry out their life, while the other one would become the new hunter Vanguard. So Cade ended up winning, which put Andal Brask in the position as the new hunter Vanguard for a while, but sometime after that, the Fallen had rebuilt Taniks, bringing him back to life, at which he then murdered Andal Brask. So this is how Cade became the hunter Vanguard. Taniks came back to life, killed Andal, the position was open, and the only one to fill it was Cade. So here Taniks would cheat death, but this definitely wasn't the first time it would happen. Here's what the Vanguard had to say about Taniks. In terms of our own Guardian's journey though, we were first introduced to Taniks in the House of Wolves expansion in Destiny 1, where he would invade his fallen catch on the moon, hoping to pillage and salvage stuff from the Hive.
Taniks has no house. He kneels before no banner, owes allegiance to no Kel. He is a murderer, and very good at what he does. I have been tracking him since wolves broke their chains, yes? Now Taniks works for Wolfpack, but not for long.
Taniks was a rogue mercenary that would bounce around the system seeking out chaos and taking up bounties. He loved to kill, and in fact he sought these kind of confrontations out. But this time around he was hired by the Wolves to break out a former leader and Archon priest from the Prison of Elders. It is believed by the Fallen that he is undying, a living huntsman whose physical self is joined with a mix of technologies, each pilfered from legendary treasure troves. But treasure is not the only currency of value to Taniks. His true ambitions rest in the challenge of the feats in front of him, and the rewards simply allow him to exist free of any Kel's rule. Most Fallen worship machines. It seems that Taniks, with his ritualistic surgeries and implants, wishes to be one. So we were sent to the moon into this catch to take out Taniks, and it worked, until about a year later when Siva rolled around and he was once again brought back to life.
Unsettling news. The Devil Splicers have used Siva to resurrect an old foe. Taniks the Scarred has become Taniks Perfected.
Taniks' crew has joined the Splicers. They're using Siva to reanimate his body and overtake his territory. Lord Saladin says you were indispensable in old Russia, Guardian. We thought you should be the one to handle this.
Taniks the Scarred became Taniks Perfected. Zavala even says he must have been more machine than fallen.
He talks. How is that possible?
Maybe Taniks was more machine than we thought. He's not alive. Perhaps he never was.
In Shadowkeep, as we ventured back to the moon once more, another version of Taniks would appear, but this time as a nightmare. A creation from the darkness that would haunt us, revealing our past. So this technically wasn't the actual Taniks, more like a nightmare from the darkness created to represent him, but we did still fight a version of him here in Shadowkeep. This then brings us up to Beyond Light. During the campaign, after we thin out Aramis's hierarchy, we get a glimpse at Taniks in one of the cutscenes.
In the wake of loss, Aramis rebuilt a life, found new family, one forged from anger.
Also, that infamous cutscene where she mentions preparing the body in the crypt has to do with Taniks, we assume as well, and if you've entered the Deepstone Crypt raid yourself, you've seen what horror awaits. The first main boss here we encounter is Atrax 1, a new fallen Exo, and upon meeting her for the first time, it is also revealed that she had once again brought Taniks back to life. So after taking out Atrax, the raid will then have you hunting down Taniks at the other side of the spaceship and trying to take him down while the ship rapidly plummets to the surface of Europa, attempting to detonate a nuclear device which would destroy the crypt. After the Guardians successfully stop this, Taniks chases you down a hallway, pretty cool little encounter here, and this is all while the ship is crash landing into Europa.
Defenses will be destroyed. It is now open to all, allies and enemies alike. If you do not defend it, the results will be world ending. Humanity's fate is now on you. Best of luck.
So the ship has crashed and Taniks is finally dead, right? Nope. Just before impact, it seems Taniks had merged himself with a heavy shank to survive and became Taniks the Abomination, the final raid boss in the Deepstone Crypt. So after taking out the Abomination, is that it? Is Taniks the Scarred, Taniks Perfected, or Taniks the Abomination dead yet? Now, in terms of gameplay, it might be safe to assume, right? I mean, we fought him so many times, how many more times would Bungie want to bring him back before it gets too much, before the gameplay sort of gets stale? So in my opinion, I don't think Taniks survives this fight, but you never know given the past content we've had, and in terms of the story of Destiny and the Fallen being able to come back to life, merging themselves with machines and so on, it's definitely not impossible to rule out. Of course, Bungie can do whatever they want with the story. We know other Fallen are still out there alive. For example, Aramis could still be alive, in fact she most likely is, and even Fikrul from 2 years ago in Forsaken is also still alive. Anyway, Guardians, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for some more awesome Destiny 2 news and entertainment. Let me know down below what topics you'd like me to cover next. We're going to be diving into some stuff around Cayde and his Deepstone Crypt past, and some other topics as well, but let me know what you would like to see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.